Hey, what's up, everybody? It's BDF44 coming at you with another video. I'm back on my NBA talk stuff. Um, Blake Griffin. I've already made a video on Blake Griffin to the Nets. He's headed there. That's official now. I think he's already signed. I think he's wearing number 2 or something like that. So that's not really something I want to come here and just rehash because it's not anything extra to share in terms of my perspective on it on Blake Griffin with the Nets. I think I literally said it all in that video. You guys go check that out. Thank you for doing just that. So yeah, he's going there. The Andre Drummond to the Lakers rumor is starting to heat up from what I understand. The difference between what I'm able to tell you now and then is that now that it is being reported that he has interest in coming here, that the Lakers organization feel he's going to consider us if he's bought out, and the likelihood is that he will be bought out because most don't believe that he's going to be a tradable piece for the Cleveland Cavaliers. It's just going to be very difficult for them to find a suitor for him, knowing that the buyout is a possibility right now. Why would anybody trade for him? Giving up anything for him just doesn't make any sense. Force Cleveland to buy him out is the play for the league. So that's what I see happening, and I think he's going to go to the Lakers. Although he has other suitors that he can go to. The Toronto Raptors have been a hot name for him as well. Boston, I think, is going to be looking for a guy at that position. He could always still go to the Nets, even though I don't know what their cap situation looks like. He could definitely choose them if he wants. The Clippers will be happy to receive him as well. So he won't be lacking in suitors. I think Dallas would be a good place for him to land too. So there's a lot of places that Drummond can go to and find himself in a winning situation. And LA just happens to be one of them. But if we do get Andre Drummond, as I've been on the record saying, I think Andre Drummond and Anthony Davis are a devastating combination. I think that rebounding the ball over the Lakers, if they were to get those two players, would be seemingly impossible. I don't know how that affects Montrezl Harrell, but I do know that once Drummond sits down and Harrell comes in, you're still dealing with somebody who can rebound the ball better than most, period. So it just becomes a situation where, even though no one's really talking about it, because the game is at a space where you're shooting threes. We just saw an all-star game where we saw more threes attempted and made ever. Guys are hitting shots from half court. Like, the game is a three-point game today. So I don't think people are as excited about Andre Drummond and Anthony Davis front court as maybe they should be. But I'm telling you, and I'm referencing fantasy basketball quite a bit, are you going to find me 4 bigs more fantasy-worthy in the entire league than Andre Drummond and Anthony Davis, to go along with 2 other guys that come to mind quickly, in Joel Embiid and Nikola Jokic? I don't know that you're going to find better fantasy players at the center position. You just probably will not. Karl Towns, of course, but we're talking about just strictly statistics, a guy being able to do monstrous stuff. Those 2 are 2 of the best there is, and you add LeBron James to that conversation. Suddenly now Kuzma, I think, becomes more valuable with a guy like Drummond on the floor. The lanes open up more for him. His jump shots and three-point shots and things like that you get even more open shots than you already have. I look at what Brooklyn has, and I say they got a lot of scoring, they got a lot of shooting, they got a lot of this, they got a lot of that. But at the end of the day, DeAndre Jordan and Blake Griffin are going to have a hard time dealing with Anthony Davis and Andre Drummond. Okay? If the Lakers are able to get Anthony Davis healthy and keep him healthy for the rest of the season, after this little short tenure, he's going to be out. And they find a way to get Andre Drummond on this team, and Trez is still here, that I don't know how the hell anybody beats that front court. I don't see it. Joel Embiid's going to have a hard time doing all the stuff that he loves to do. Because what you got to understand in the Eastern Conference is you can't simulate what that is. What we bring to the table, you can't simulate that. There's no comparison. Maybe you look at Indiana and the bigs that they have with Sabonis, obviously Miles Turner. That's like the Eastern Conference version of that kind of thing, where you got to deal with 2 all-star caliber bigs going nuts, both blocking shots. One of them shoots the three. The other one bullies on the inside, rebounds like madmen. Like, I think the Pacers are the team that in the Eastern Conference can give you that. Philly with Embiid, and Dwight. I think that's something that the Eastern Conference could look at. But like, the Nets are not going to be able to simulate that. Milwaukee, if they were the lucky team to come out of the East, they can't simulate what we bring to the table with that once Drummond gets here. I mean, I don't think anybody's really aware, because when you consider the Lakers and Anthony Davis and all this and Drummond, your mind immediately, if you're anything like me, your mind immediately goes to AD's not out there. So you're bringing Drummond in, you're just not necessarily seeing those two. You're thinking Drummond and LeBron and all of that. You think of how it's going to work for the shooters, but you don't really understand how much Drummond is going to help Anthony. Because Anthony doesn't want to bang. Anthony would much rather not have to average 10, 12, 14 rebounds. He would much rather play a finesse game where he's shooting jumpers and corner threes and being able to do his turnaround spin moves and all that awesome stuff that he can pull off outside of the paint. He would much rather do that. I think he'll age more gracefully if he's not down there banging. You bring in one of the best bangers in all of basketball in Andre Drummond, who don't want to do nothing but dunk and rebound. He don't want to do nothing but dunk and rebound. And he can push the pace. He can run like a guard at that center position. He's all over the place. His motor's nuts. And the thing about it is, because of what I just described, the spacing should be okay. Anthony Davis is not going to clog the paint from Andre Drummond. Now, I do want Anthony Davis in the paint probably more than he's projected to be once Drummond gets here, because I don't want him to lose his edge in that way. But when you're that great, do you really lose anything? I don't know that a player like that loses anything just because he's not doing it. When you're that great, it's just 20 years from now, you can pick up a basketball and still do what he does. So it's like, I look at Anthony Davis in that caliber. It's like, nah, you don't really lose anything when you're that great. So all in all, just to sum it all together, I think now the Lakers have a little more pressure to acquire a guy like Andre Drummond. I think it'll be a letdown for us if we happen to not get Drummond and maybe settle for a Whiteside at this point. I think Whiteside would be great here, by the way. I do. I think Whiteside would have a resurgence. He would be close to Miami level, Whiteside with us, and I wouldn't be surprised if he has another one of those 10 blocks, 10 rebounds, 10 points games. Like, he's still capable of doing it. I think he's in better shape now with the Kings than he's probably been in 5-6 years. So I'm not down on us picking up Whiteside if we're not able to get Drummond. I would love to bring in Whiteside. I think the issue is Drummond is just so much more of effective. He's so much better of a player at this stage in the career. Whiteside is capable of doing crazy stuff. We've seen that, especially with Miami. But I just don't know where his motor is. The difference between him and Andre Drummond, for me, is the motor more than anything else. And he doesn't run like Andre. He's not that agile. And Andre's much more agile. Andre actually has a handle. He can actually put the ball on the floor a little bit. So it's a lot of things that I'm looking to learn about both of those players as well, to be honest. But just from what I've seen from afar from both of them, Drummond is the better player, and it's not really hard to tell at all. So, yeah, I think there'll be a little bit of a letdown for Laker Nation if we're not able to get Drummond at this point, because we're all starting to warm up to it. So that's a realistic move for the Lakers. I think that's possible. I think if he gets bought out, I think there's mutual interest from what I'm understanding, and there's no reason not to bring him in. We need what he is. Marc Gasol, Mark has a ring, okay? He has a ring. So if we send him to Utah or we send him random Memphis or something like that, I think it'll be okay. I think sending him back to Memphis would be a wonderful thing. He could retire there. He's a champion. I know he came here to get another taste of the ring, but, I mean, God, man, what the Lakers need, unfortunately, is just not what he brings to the table. I'm not on a bash Marc Gasol mission. We love the Gasol family, you know what I mean? Pau is forever our champion and our hero. So there's going to be endless respect on my end as a Laker fan for the Gasol family, but I can't lie and tell you that I've been thrilled with his tenure as a Laker this go round. It's just not a whole lot left, and it's not personal. You know, you could bring in any superstar after he's no longer himself, and he'll look bad. But that doesn't take away from the Hall of Fame career or the great play that Marcus had. Grit and grind was all about Marc Gasol. You know what I mean? So it ain't gonna be no confusing being done with being trash. These are two very different things. Guy is great. He's just not who he used to be. So that's what I got to say. And I still think he can help us if he stays on our team because he has things that you cannot teach. His passing ability, his ability to stretch the floor, his intellect. Some of that stuff is just given to him by the great one above. So I'm not down on Mark historically. I just know that in 2020, 2021, he's not what we need at the center spot. He's just not. So I don't think that's going to be much of a hot take. I think everybody agree with that at this point. I got some things that I want to discuss, but I'll keep this as a realistic video. So thank you guys for watching.